Can you imagine hanging your baby in a cage outside your apartment window? It sounds completely insane, right? Almost like a scene from a horror movie. Can you imagine hanging your baby in a cage outside your apartment window? It sounds completely insane, right? Almost like a scene from a horror movie. But what if I told you that less than 100 years ago? This is the bizarre, true story of the baby cage. Faith. Let's rewind to the 1930s. Cities are exploding. Skyscrapers are shooting up, and families are packing into tiny apartments, stacked one on top of the other. For many, a private garden or even a small balcony was an unimaginable luxury. Life was lived indoors, often in crowded, stuffy rooms. At the same time, a new health crisis was capturing public attention: rickets. Doctors were sounding the alarm about this debilitating childhood disease that caused soft, weak, and deformed bones. They had figured out the cause: a severe lack of vitamin D and sunlight. The cure, HIT, was considered the ultimate natural medicine for a growing baby. How do you give your baby a daily dose of sun and fresh air when you live on the 10th floor of a tenement building with no outdoor space? Parents were desperate for a solution. This is where a woman named Eleanor Roosevelt, not the First Lady, but a different woman with the same name, other inventors stepped in with an idea. They created the baby cage. In 1922, a patent was filed in the United States for what was officially called a portable baby compartment. The design was simple, yet shocking. A sturdy wire mesh cage, almost like a small animal enclosure, designed to be attached to the outside of a window. It had a solid floor, mesh sides to prevent the baby from falling out, and a sloped roof to protect from rain or snow. The cage was secured to the window frame with strong hooks and supports. Parents could simply open their window, place their baby inside on a blanket, and let them nap, play, or just hang out, suspended high above the city streets below. The idea was to give urban babies the same benefits of fresh air and sunlight that country babies enjoyed, all without the parent having to leave the apartment. It was a perfect blend of modern convenience and doctor-recommended health advice. At least, that's how it was sold to the public. And believe it or not, people bought it. They really bought it. You might think this was just a niche crackpot invention that never took off, but you'd be wrong. The baby cage became a genuine trend. In London, prestigious department stores like Harrods advertised and sold them. They were marketed not as a strange contraption, but as a modern, scientific, and forward-thinking parenting tool. Advertisements from the era show happy, smiling babies chilling in their window cages, with taglines promising a healthier, stronger child. The cages were presented as a status symbol, proof that you were a sophisticated parent who was up to date on the latest child-rearing science. It wasn't just commercial companies pushing them either. Childcare organizations, which were seen as the authority on raising healthy kids, actually recommended them. One of the most famous examples is the Chelsea Baby Club in London. Founded in 1911, its mission was to improve the health of inner-city children. In 1937, the club started distributing its own custom-built baby cages to its members who lived in apartments without gardens. For these families, getting a baby cage was a huge help, a sign of progress. It meant they could finally follow doctors' orders and give their children what they needed to thrive. Historical photos from this period are just surreal. You see these little wire boxes sticking out from the sides of brick apartment buildings, with tiny babies lying peacefully inside, unfazed by the fact that they're dangling dozens of feet above a busy sidewalk. Some parents would put toys in the cage. Others would bundle their babies up in thick blankets during colder months. From the perspective of the 1930s, this wasn't child endangerment. It was responsible parenting. It was seen as no different than putting a baby in a playpen or a crib. It was just a crib with a much better view and a much bigger drop. So, how did it feel to be a baby in one of these cages? We don't have any first-hand accounts, of course. But some people who were put in them as infants later said their parents told them they loved it. They would coo and laugh, watching the people and cars go by down below. The cages were even nicknamed health cages or sunshine cribs, reinforcing the idea that they were purely beneficial. The fresh air was thought to boost their immune systems and make them more resilient. Some parents swore it helped their babies sleep better and cry less. For a while, it seemed like the baby cage was the perfect solution to a modern problem. But as you can probably guess, this strange trend couldn't last forever. Even at the height of their popularity, not everyone was on board. There must have been neighbors who looked out their windows and thought, "Are you serious right now?" Over time, common sense and safety concerns started to creep in. People began to ask the obvious questions. What if the hooks failed? What if a heavy object fell from a window above? What if the baby somehow managed to climb or wiggle out? While there are no widespread officially documented reports of major accidents, the risk was undeniable. As the decades wore on, society's entire attitude towards child safety began to shift dramatically. The post-World War II era brought a new focus on protecting children from every conceivable danger. The idea of intentionally placing a baby in a potentially hazardous situation, no matter the supposed health benefits, started to seem less like modern science and more like reckless negligence. By the 1950s, the baby cage craze was over. They were quietly removed from windows and disappeared from department store catalogs. They became a forgotten fad, a weird footnote in the history of parenting. The world moved on. Improved nutrition, vitamin supplements, and a better understanding of child development made them obsolete. Thus, the rise of suburbs meant more families had their own backyards, eliminating the very problem the cages were meant to solve. Looking back now, it's easy to judge. It's easy to be horrified or to laugh at the absurdity of it all. But the story of the baby cage is a powerful reminder of how much our standards and beliefs can change over time. What seems perfectly normal and scientific in one generation can look completely bonkers to the next. The parents who used these cages weren't monsters. People who loved their children and were doing what they thought was best, based on the information and resources they had. They were trying to solve a real problem in the best way they knew how. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What parenting trends from our time will future generations look back on with disbelief? Will they be shocked by our high-tech video baby monitors, our complicated car seats, or the way we share every moment of our kids' lives on social media? Every era has its own version of the baby cage. So, the next time you stumble across one of those old black and white photos of a baby in a window cage, take a second look. It's more than just a shocking image. It's a fascinating glimpse into a different time. A story of love, fear, and the sometimes bizarre lengths parents will go to for their children's well-being. And that is the strange, forgotten story of the baby cage. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into the weirdest parts of history. See you next time.